on. Snowed in, he's plugging on behind them as they race down to the final flight, and it's Prairie Wolf in front. And he's in front by 3. From in second, Eros de Moutier, Desiree Girl, Secret still keeping on behind them, but the leader's safely over the final flight with a 5-length lead. Unseating in fourth was Secret with a blunder, and so Prairie Wolf being driven out by Tom Wilmot for Sue Smith and carrying top weight to win the opener pretty comfortably. Prairie Wolf wins for the first time over hurdles, beat in second, close Desiree Girl.
Stages in the second last hurdle, and it's Coral Blue in front of Socks Off. Coral Blue, Socks Off, Foster's Island, and then comes a Big Brazil and Glen True and Okavango Delta. Fenner's Loss has backpedaled on the run down to the last. It's Coral Blue, Socks Off, Big Brazil, and Foster's Island is continuing to stay on. They're on the run in, and it is Brian Hughes and Coral Blue in front by a good 3 or 4 lengths. Foster's Island and Joshua Thompson moving into second position, but this is going to go the way of Coral Blue. Coral Blue handy throughout wins. Foster's Island second, Big Brazil third.
El Jefe nearest to us. On the right in white and blue, You Can Fall. Smart Boyo in the 2 shades of blue. Ultraviolet with the noseband is there. Zwicky in a yellow jacket behind those. Then Jimmy Rabbit and Herculaneum. And now it's Smart Boyo and You Can Falls. This pair together at the final flight of hurdles. Nearest to us is Smart Boyo. You Can Falls with the cheek pieces on, though, as gamely seeing him off at the moment. So the white and blue You Can Falls. Smart Boyo is gaining as they race towards the line. You Can Falls joined by Smart Boyo. Zwicky a few lengths behind them in
almost upsides, racing deeper. They're at the second last. They rise and land together. A couple of lengths back to Anna Moore. Who's next? Is Leslie's Legacy towards the near side. Red Missile responding to pressure on the far side is beginning to scrap it out. Leslie's Legacy and Red Missile together at the final flight of hurdles. Anna Moore trying to wind up behind them. Over in front, Red Missile scrapping away. Leslie's Legacy now back in second. Red Missile keeps finding up front here for Patrick Wadge and is pulling clear on the run towards the line. Red Missile was headed, but driven out, will go on to land the spoils. Red Missile in front, wins well to Leslie's Legacy in second.
In fourth when making ground. They're followed through further back by Secret, who's running on. Snowed in, he's plugging on behind them as they race down to the final flight, and it's Prairie Wolf in front. And he's in front by 3. From in second, Eros de Moutier, Desiree Girl, Secret still keeping on behind them, but the leader's safely over the final flight with a 5-length lead. Unseating in fourth was Secret with a blunder, and so Prairie Wolf being driven out by Tom Wilmot for Sue Smith and carrying top weight to win the opener pretty comfortably. Prairie Wolf wins for the first time over hurdles, beat in second, close Desiree Girl.
Stages in the second last hurdle, and it's Coral Blue in front of Socks Off. Coral Blue, Socks Off, Foster's Island, and then comes a Big Brazil and Glen True and Okavango Delta. Fenner's Loss has backpedaled on the run down to the last. It's Coral Blue, Socks Off, Big Brazil, and Foster's Island is continuing to stay on. They're on the run in, and it is Brian Hughes and Coral Blue in front by a good 3 or 4 lengths. Foster's Island and Joshua Thompson moving into second position, but this is going to go.
Apparently Mary spent several nights in the box cradling his head.
Yeah, great.
I mean, proper devotion there, but what a great horse Cabin Target was.
The series, they're obviously named after some of the greats of the North, like One Man and the like, who we see. In the press room, we were looking for Herring Queen, working out where the hell was she trained.
Apparently it's a festival.
Yeah, it's some sort of beauty pageant.
Herring Queen, yeah, okay.
Back to the drawing board.
Right, listen, the first one I want to chuck at you here is Salvino, who's been quite well back for Sandy Thompson.
Strong in the market. I'd be slightly concerned that even on soft ground around here, 2.5 is on the sharp side. He's done a lot of good work overstaying distances. He's been consistent. He's got that form with Johnson's Blue, which admittedly was effectively just a match. Only 2 were ever in it. Johnson's Blue's won off a higher mark since, £4 higher. So I don't think in handicapping terms he's weighted out of it. And in essence, he's dropping from a 0 to 145 at Musselburgh on trials day to a 0 to 120 as top weight. So he must have a chance if he can stay in close enough touch over this distance.
What about the 2 that are on hat-tricks, Coral Blue after the wins at Ayr and Musselburgh, and You Can Falls after the wins at Ayr and Musselburgh as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure the defeats of Smart Boy or back-to-back, albeit clearly You Can Falls is really got his act together lately. I'm not sure that form's of sufficiently good calibre to think he'll be really interested in his hat-trick bid, even though he is an 8-1 chance, so he's not completely unconsidered. But Coral Blue, on the other hand, I think has got a really good chance. I mean, he's winning by wide margins, so you're thinking, well, sure, the handicap will have his say, but he's just in rattlingly good form, and I really was impressed by how the pack closed. They got the gap down to about half a length at the third last when Brian Hughes was riding him at Ayr last time, and in the end, on the running, he sprinted right away again. He's up 7, but he was rated higher than this in Ireland, and he's clearly in his best ever form for Dara Buck since coming over from there.
Sue Smith won this race last year with Romeo Brown, ridden by Tom Wilmot, and we wish Tom a speedy return to the saddle after some awful injuries he sustained at Catterick to his arm and his leg. We wish you a speedy recovery, Tom. And that takes us to Sue Smith's horse in this race, Prairie Wolf, for Ross Chapman, narrowly foiled in the hat-trick attempt at Doncaster to follow up the Catterick win.
Yeah, and he had Catterick form early with an improver of Milton Harris's El Muchacho too. Won at Catterick, the pair were miles clear, and his latest run was a good one. It's hard to read, really, because Galahad Threepwood initially left him for dead between the last two, but he did rally strongly. I'm not sure Galahad Threepwood's the type of horse to do a great deal in front, but he'd made a really bad mistake at the second last when still in front, so he's an improving horse. He's up another 5, but he's a dual bumper winner. That alone should suggest he'll be competitive of this sort of mark, and the extra distance he's got, it's not masses, but an extra furlong or so will be in his favour because he's a strong stayer at the trip.
It's the middle day then of the Go North finals weekend. Musselburgh yesterday, Kelso today, and Carlisle tomorrow. And our commentator here in the Scottish Borders this afternoon is Gareth Topham.
Hello, Gordon, Dan, everyone at home. Runners about to come forward for our first race. As you can see, a huge crowd in attendance. It's going to be loud, and they're about to come in for our first race. We wish you the very best of luck. Invite her to the start here by the starter on the rostrum, and in they come steadily for race 1. They're off. The Bet Victor Go North Cab on Target Handicap Hurdle begins day 2 of the Go North Festival, and heading down towards the opening flight, the first of 11, with Coral Blue in blue and pink colours along the inside of Yukon Falls, the first 2 to take off and land, with racing a little bit wider of them, Socks Off in yellow and purple, that one just slightly over racing through the first few strides, with close up as well Hungry Tiger, Give Me a Cuddle, and along the inside Limerick Leader. They're being followed next by Prairie Wolf, with over towards the inside of Dilico. Mayo Blanc is a little wider out, and then Les's Legacy and Salvino, who early on are the last couple. But all in all, they're tightly grouped as they now swing left-handed, taking the inner loop at this time and off into the back straight, where 2 flights of hurdles will stand before them. And it is the hat-trick-seeking Coral Blue along the inside of Yukon Falls. Yukon Falls also looking for his 3rd win on the trot, and they take off and land in unison. At the back end of the field, it looked as if Salvino knocked that flight halfway to the ground and was just ridden along on the landing side by jockey Ryan Mann here as they continue their progress going away from us and on towards hurdle number 3. Coral Blue in the noseband, the cheek pieces of Yukon Falls, with out a bit wider Hungry Tiger and Socks Off as they come over another. And again, all landing safe and sound, with Give Me a Cuddle not too far off the pace in blue with white stars, and Limerick Leader, the pink and black, over towards the inside. Limerick Leader, who was a winner on this card 12 months ago. Prairie Wolf is in the black and red coloured jacket, representing trainer Sue Smith, who actually won this race last year, as they're on the approach to the flight along the side of the track, heading back towards us. Dilico is over towards the inside of We'll Go Again, and out wider of those is Mayo Blanc. And then Les's Legacy and Salvino, who continue to race at the rear of the field. Only around about 7 or 8 lengths covering first to last, as for the first time they race left-handed into the home straight, and on now towards flights 5 and 6, still well in excess of a circuit in front of them in this, the Bet Victor Go North Cab on Target Handicap Hurdle Series final. And it is Coral Blue under Sean Bowen picking up in front of Yukon Falls. Then in behind them, Hungry Tiger, Give Me a Cuddle. And taking the shortest route is Limerick Leader. A little wider out on the track on the left as we look on down the course is Socks Off, who's being tracked by the model of consistency, Les's Legacy. And back with Les's Legacy is Mayo Blanc, and Prairie Wolf is in amongst runners. And still well down the pack, the likes of Salvino, who's just up in behind, We'll Go Again. Idilico over towards the inside as they now reach the flight, which will be the last after another circuit of the track. And they've all taken it safely. Socks Off has now raced up to Coral Blue to at the very least have a dispute of the lead with a circuit left in front of them in the opening race. So it is Socks Off who has indeed now gone on from in second place Coral Blue. Then follows Yukon Falls and Limerick Leader, who's had a nice run through so far. Hungry Tiger is a little bit wider out. Racing next is Give Me a Cuddle ahead of Prairie Wolf and Les's Legacy. Idilico, Mayo Blanc, Will Go Again. And still Salvino looking on under Ryan Mania at the tail of the field. Entering the back straight for the final time. They're going to be waved around the next flight of hurdles. It was knocked, half of it anyway, down to the ground in the previous circuit, so they bypass that flight due to damage, and it is Socks Off now taking them on towards what will be the 7th flight and the 4th from home. Socks Off, who's gone with enthusiasm throughout, leads from Coral Blue. Les's Legacy continuing to improve towards the outside, the dark blue with the yellow stars on the sleeves and cap. Yukon Falls is still very competitive as they came over that hurdle. Limerick Leader towards the inside. A little bit wider out is Hungry Tiger with Mayo Blanc as they prepare to turn left-handed out of the back straight. Still tightly grouped, and it is Socks Off who races on by a length and a half to Coral Blue. Les's Legacy a little wider. Then Yukon Falls and Hungry Tiger as they come to jump the 3rd from home. It was Socks Off who had the lead. That wasn't Coral Blue's finest hour. Coral Blue now shaken up by Sean Bowen as they're about to make the left-handed run back towards the home straight. Half a mile left to travel and 2 more to jump in the opener. It is Socks Off who shows the way from Les's Legacy and Coral Blue. Mayo Blanc now beginning to improve around the outside in the maroon and white hoops. Prairie Wolf is also on the move. Further back then to Limerick Leader, a fading Yukon Falls. Salvino picking up from a long way back as they came over 2 from home. Socks Off has company. Les's Legacy in the dark blue and yellow is throwing down a strong challenge. Away to the outside is Prairie Wolf. Then Mayo Blanc, a little break back to Limerick Leader, Coral Blue and Salvino as they head towards the final flight. It is Les's Legacy towards the inside of Prairie Wolf. They now race on together ahead of Socks Off back in 3rd and then Mayo Blanc as they're on the approach to the final flight, and Prairie Wolf has gone to the front now. Prairie Wolf is at the last. Les's Legacy fighting back along the inside. Prairie Wolf wasn't overly polished. The consistent Les's Legacy is battling all the way. Mayo Blanc is back in 3rd into the final 50 yards. Les's Legacy and Prairie Wolf. Les's Legacy goes on to win again and beats into 2nd place Prairie Wolf with him behind the Mayo Blanc, and then Yukon Falls, Limerick Leader, Salvino, Socks Off and Coral Blue.
He's been a model of consistency, has this Les's Legacy, trained by Susan Corbett and ridden by Dylan Hurst. Beats Prairie Wolf into 2nd, Mayo Blanc finishes 3rd, and Yukon Falls takes 4th place. Really consistent type, and winning for the 3rd time over.
Maroon with the light blue sleeves with the white stars. That's Hunsbury. Hunsbury followed out by the top one on the card. This is Broomfield Cave for Bristow, Crofts and Flower. Danny Gilligan taking £7 off the top weights back in the maroon with the beige striped sleeves and the white cap. Stepping up in trip today, as are a number of these runners, having finished 3rd and 5th at Taunton on his last 2 starts. Number 11 is Tis But a Scratch with Tabitha Worsley doing the steering. For owner Miss G. Howell, trainer Georgie Howell, yellow with the mauve epaulets. That is the 11, Tis But a Scratch. Free Pedro is having a first start in handicap company. For Ratcatcher Racing, Brian Hughes in the purple with the red disc and the striped sleeves. And going to post in the green with the purple cross belts and the purple spots is Walk in the Storm. For Peel Racing Syndicate, Charlie Todd on board for Ian Williams. When they met recently, Walk in the Storm finished a couple of places ahead of Lady Burleigh at Fosslas. Lady Burleigh ridden by Ben Post today for the Nigel Jones and Roy Oval Syndicates in the light blue with the maroon chevrons on the sleeves and the maroon cap. Last couple heading to post. Number 2, Unai, back over hurdles today after a spell over fences. Lee Edwards in the green and red checks and halved sleeves of Belinda Clark. And Passing Secrets is in the dark blue and yellow quarters, white sleeves, blue armlets, white cap. For owners, recent partners, Tom Gretton trained. Mitch Bastian has the ride this afternoon. Those are our runners. They're beginning to gather at the start for this race 2, the Broxton Gates Novices Handicap Hurdle. Over this 2 mile, 7 furlong trip, they'll jump 12 flights of hurdles. Broomfield Cave heads the market at 3 to 1, has eased out from 5 to 2. Similarly, Walk in the Storm has eased out from 7 to 2 to 4s. The support comes in for Free Pedro, the handicap newcomer, 11 to 2 into 9 to 2, and also for William Ewart, 6 to 1 into 5 to 1. Hunsbury is 13 to 2, another who's been backed from 9s. It's Lady Burley, easy to back, 11 to 2, right out to 8 to 1. 12 to 1, Invincible to Me. 40s, Unai. Passing Secrets is 50s, nibbled at from 80s. 66, Berry Walls. And 'Tis But a Secret at 151 is the outside of the party for the Broxton Gates Novices Handicap Hurdle. Runners are gathering at the post. Scheduled off time here rapidly approaching. Runners are safely at the start. Runners arriving at the post. They'll be coming out onto the track shortly for this Stayers Novices Handicap Hurdle. Broomfield's Cave has been staying on over shorter trips at Taunton recently. Danny Gilligan claiming a 7 here will help his cause. He's in the maroon with the beige striped sleeves. Walk in the Storm finished a couple of places ahead of Lady Burley when they were 2nd and 4th at Foss Lass. Lady Burley in the light blue maroon chevrons on the sleeves. Walk in the Storm's green with purple crossbelts. Interesting runner here is Free Pedro for Donald McCain in the purple with the red disc and striped sleeves. First run in a handicap, moving up in trip. Could be significant for Free Pedro, the extra distance today. Brian Hughes on board as well. Unai is back over hurdles after a spell over fences. Has been running in point-to-points as well in the green and red colours. And Hunsbury is another who's found support in the betting here. Looking for a first win at the 7th attempt over hurdles. 3rd at Hereford last time. Runners just taking a turn, moving on to the hurdles course. Thanks, Luke. Coming in from some way back here, from some way off the tapes. Starters on the rostrum, still to raise his flag. Coming in nice and steadily. Led in by William Ewart. Passing Secrets and Unai. But we look all good for a start here as the starter raises his flag. Starter has raised the flag. Runners coming forward at the 2 mile 7 starts for this Broxton Gates Novices Handicap Hurdle with 12 flights to take. Passing Secrets, Unai, William Ewart leading the runners tightly grouped towards the tape. And they're off. And the race over the 2 mile 7 trip for this Broxton Gates Novices Handicap Hurdle. Just under 2 circuits of the course to complete. 12 flights of hurdles in front of them and a long run before they jump the first. And they're led by Passing Secrets as they make their approach towards this first flight of hurdles as they race away from the enclosures. Prominent is Unai in the green and red colours, followed by Invincible to Me, and well there William Ewart on the inside, yellow sleeves and a yellow cap. Wide on the course, held up at the back early is 'Tis But a Scratch in the yellow jacket with a noseband as they make their run then towards this first flight of hurdles. And it's Unai disputing it with Passing Secrets. Invincible to Me is close up with Berry Walls in the purple jacket as they jump the first flight. Held up out the back is Free Pedro at this stage, with also Lady Burley, the maroon cap, in that last pairing. And they're just preceded by Walk in the Storm as they take this left-hand turn. She's alongside Broomfield's Cave, who's in maroon and beige with a white cap. That's the last quartet as they swing away towards the far side of the course, led by Passing Secrets and Mitch Bastian. Half a length ahead of Unai, who's back over hurdles today after a spell over fences. And then Invincible to Me and close up William Ewart on the inside rail. Length back to Berry Walls, the purple and orange quartered cap, followed by Hunsbury, the maroon and light blue. Wide is 'Tis But a Scratch as they jump the second flight of hurdles. And all over it safely again. Free Pedro is the last to rise in company with Lady Burley as they head towards the next 2 flights over on the far side of the course. as they continue over on the back straight on this first circuit. Passing Secrets and Unai together as they come towards flight number 3. Unai touches down just in front. And they landed 2 ahead of Invincible to Me, who's racing in advance of William Hewitt, and then follows Hunsbury and Berry Walls. And next in the field is Walk in the Storm, mid-division in the green and purple colours, held up on the inside. Tis But a Scratch is next from Broomfield's Cave, as they take the last on the far side this time round. And again, all over it safely with Free Pedro and Lady Burlay, the last to rise. Swing left-handed once more, making their approach to the 2 flights in the straight, numbers 5 and 6. And they've gone at a pretty good pace as well as they take this turn. Unai on the outside of Passing Secrets. Unai and Lee Edwards, Passing Secrets, Mitch Bastian. 3 lengths ahead of William Hewitt, Nick Schofield in a dispute of 3rd place with Invincible to Me and Alan Johns. Close up is Hunsbury, flanked by Berry Walls and Walk in the Storm. As they head towards the flight, there'll be 2 out next time round. Unai just in front, crossing that one, but only narrowly, as they make their approach towards the next flight, and this is number 6. Unai leads Passing Secrets with Invincible to Me and William Hewitt the next 2, and then a little cluster consisting of Walk in the Storm on the inside of Hunsbury and Berry Walls and Tis But a Scratch as they cross this flight as they head up towards the winning post. And Free Pedro wasn't too tidy at that flight. It's still the back marker, probably 10 lengths behind the leaders. Broomfield's Cave, the top weight, and Danny Gilligan is the last but one, still held up well off the pace is Lady Burlay as they swing past their departure point. They're at the halfway mark in this Broxton Gates Novices Handicap Hurdle. This lengthy run now before they take flight number 7. There hasn't been too much change in the order, with Unai and Passing Secrets sharing the front-running duties as they continue towards the next. They lead by a length from Berry Walls, who's a shade closer to the pace. On the outside of Invincible to Me, still going the shortest way is William Hewitt, and still wide is Tis But a Scratch. Midfield is Walk in the Storm, racing still towards the inside. Lady Burlay is towards the out of Hunsbury. And Free Pedro, handicap debutant at the back of the field with Broomfield's Cave. Taking the next flight of hurdles, little untidy there, the leader Unai was joined once again by Passing Secrets, with a 2-length break to the 3rd, Invincible to Me, alongside William Hewitt. Half a length back to the 5th, that's Berry Walls, and a length to the next group of 3. Hunsbury on the outside of Walk in the Storm, on the inside of Tis But a Scratch. And Lady Burlay just latching on to that group. Broomfield's Cave at the back of the field with Free Pedro, and they've been in the rear division from the start. And they're still about 8 lengths behind the 2 who disputed as they race over on the far side and head towards their next flight of hurdles, 5 from home. Unai and Passing Secrets continue to do the donkey work. They're 2 lengths clear from the 3rd, William Hewitt and Invincible to Me. Invincible to Me just clattered through that flight, didn't lose a lot of ground, but he's ridden along having jumped it, and he's passed by the improving Hunsbury, and Walk in the Storm is switched off the inside rail to improve. Free Pedro's made a little bit of ground on the inside. Berry Walls is the one who's dropped away quickly and looks like being pulled up as they come towards the next, over on the far side of the course, 4 from home. Invincible to Me has lost his place very quickly, and he's now losing ground with the main group as William Hewitt makes a swift forward move on the inside of Passing Secrets and are ridden along Unai. Close up behind them is the improving Free Pedro. Hunsbury as well there. Walk in the Storm looking for a way through as they cross the next flight of hurdles. Tis But a Scratch at the back of that main body with Lady Burlay, who's driven along as they head then towards the final turn with 2 more flights to take, and William Hewitt, produced to lead by Nick Schofield, has gone along 2 lengths clear of Passing Secrets. Free Pedro on the inside rail, and then Hunsbury. Behind Hunsbury, Broomfield's Cave's made a bit of ground, but he's being driven, and then follows Tis But a Scratch and Walk in the Storm. They've gone clear of Lady Burlay, who's never threatened, and Unai, who's dropped out of contention quickly. 2 from home, William Hewitt, the one to catch at the second last. Landed flat-footed, but landed 3 or 4 to the good from Free Pedro, who's a clear second. Hunsbury unseated rider at 2 from home. In 3rd place is Passing Secrets, about to be tackled by the staying on Broomfield's Cave and Tis But a Scratch, and then Walk in the Storm, who hasn't picked up, but at the final flight, William Hewitt with a handy lead of 6 lengths. He's over the last safely. Free Pedro crossed it in second, still staying on in the closing stages is Broomfield's Cave with Tis But a Scratch, but no danger to William Hewitt, who's an emphatic winner and stays on strongly to score by half a dozen lengths. William Hewitt goes on to score, beats Free Pedro in second. Broomfield's Cave was 3rd, and back in 4th, Tis But a Scratch.
by Honor d'Argent, who races in front of Numitor, alongside Riders on the Storm. Last but one, Mezir des Obeaux, and on the outside, Heltenham is the back marker. This will be the final fence in a circuit's time. They appear to have gone a decent gallop in the early stages. On towards the water jump, which is fence number 6, and it is now Zaguli who has got the lead. To the near side, Riders on the Storm gets much closer now in second, and back in third is Super 6 as they go over the water jump. Very little between the two leaders. Heltenham is still the back marker, and shaken along at the back of the field is Honor d'Argent, who just lost his place through the last furlong and a half or so. So they're making the run now out into the country, and Riders on the Storm and Gavin Sheehan have now come through to take the lead. Zaguli back to second place. Then there's a break of nearly 3 lengths to Super 6, who's ahead a further length and a half of the second grey Numitor. Then towards the inside is Honor d'Argent as they make the run down the back straight. He is racing alongside Espoir de Guy and Eden de Ou. A good jump there by Mezir des Obeaux, carried him past a couple of rivals. Heltenham is still at the back of the field. Rise on the Storm takes them now towards the open ditch, and he stood a very long way off that. At the back of the field, a slow jump by Honor d'Argent. Hasn't really travelled through the last half mile or so. On now towards fence number 9 they go. Rides on the Storm on the outside. Zaguli a little bit right-handed. A mistake by Heltenham. And also being driven away from that fence is Eden de Ou. Now they're on towards the penultimate fence in the back straight. Fence number 10 in the contest. On the outside, Riders on the Storm. Zaguli over in second. Then Super 6 and Numitor, the two greys, racing as a team together. Next on the wide outside, Espoir de Guy. Making ground on the inside is Mezir des Obeaux. And this is the final fence down the back. Rides on the Storm, far more fluent than his nearest pursuer, who is Zaguli, who parted the birch in second. Numitor to the inside now takes third. Heltenham has improved now into fourth, having been given a very patient ride early. He's around the outside of Super 6. Then racing in sixth position is Espoir de Guy. Mezir des Obeaux takes the turn, racing in seventh place, and the other two now are struggling badly. They are Eden de Ou and Honor d'Argent. Down the side of the course they go. The cross fence is next. It will be the fifth from home. And Riders on the Storm will lead there by a length to Zaguli, who took it in second. Heltenham has now been overtaken by Numitor, who now tries to seize a gap up against the inside rail. Adam Wedge trying to sneak right through on the inside as they're beginning to make the turn in. So it is Riders on the Storm who leads the way. Numitor, with the help of cutting that corner, now takes second. Zaguli, and on the outside is Heltenham, followed on the inside by Super 6, and then Espoir de Guy, who is now trying to stay on as now they take the fourth from home. Numitor's lead was only 3 parts of a length. A shuddering mistake by Super 6, who took the fence with him. They're racing on now towards the final open ditch at the back of the field. Pulled up is Honor d'Argent. Also Eden de Ou has been pulled up. They've gone over the final ditch, and it's Numitor and Adam Wedge over Heltenham, and Harry Skelton now through into second place. Zaguli is in third. 2 out. Numitor by 3 parts of a length. Heltenham is held together towards the near side to try and challenge. They've got a break of 4 lengths now over Zaguli, who is back in third place, down towards the final fence. Heltenham on the near side will jump into the lead. He goes on by over a length to Numitor in second. Zaguli is in third. A very tired Super 6 in fourth place, racing inside the final 150 yards. And out in front, it is Heltenham for a third win on the spin. Wins at Newcastle, Fosslas, and now a victory at Newbury for Heltenham, who wins for the Skeltons. In second, Numitor. In third will be Zaguli. And in fourth will be Super 6.
Well, he's absolutely shrink-wrapped them, has Heltenham. A lovely performance, travelled all the way through it so sweetly and strongly from the rear. Took advantage of that really strong pace there was, but you could call him the winner a long way from home there, Martin. That was the performance of a horse who's progressing at a rate of knots.
He certainly is, yeah. He's brave, isn't he? He's brave at some of his fences, but 3 on the spin, rapid progression, and he's dealt with the better race, the bigger track, the stiffer test and examination all round, really. So he's having a hell of a season, and the way that he's won it, the manner that he's won it in, you wouldn't write off further improvement and even bigger and better things. He could even be a horse for some of those races like a Paddy Power Gold Cup next season, potentially. Just the way that he's improving, you know, and obviously the trip that he's running over. He'll be a second season chaser next year. He's a young horse that's on the up, and can imagine that Dan Skelton might have his eyes on races like that. In the shorter term, there are other races that he could go for, of course, at entry meetings and things, the Topham and races like.
Clean, who wins it?
Yeah, look, he's got a big chance. Gary Laugh a minute. He's representing Edom McGuinness, Ronald Wheel injecting the right. He won this race last year off a mark of 95. He's down to a mark of 88 today. He's got a nice low draw in stall 5 as well. And he ran well in the Ahanora handicap at Galway, over 7 furlongs, so he's a versatile horse, but 5-6 is probably his trip, and he's been nice and strong in the market as well.
To see the hood being fitted there to Swift Flight, who is a pound out of the handicap here today, but is one of those that goes well on testing ground. Downforce, who won this a couple of years ago, is just going in under Nathan Cross. Who else do you like here, Don?
We're talking about John Riggins on extra there, Gary. I think he's probably the most likely winner. He's favourite, or he was favourite. He ran a big race on his last run at Naas last year. He was unlucky. He didn't get out until it was too late. He just had nowhere to go. Chris Hayes got him out nearly on time, and he stayed on really well. Only went down by a half a length to Magical Vision. He had Earls behind him that day. He had Downforce behind him as well, and he goes well at the track as well, and he likes this ground.
John Riggins will be the final one to load for the DMG Media Handicap. Over.
They're off in the DMG Media Handicap over 5 furlongs. Out well, Harry's Hill with Salite running fast on the stand side. In between them on settling down is Al Jadi, tracked by Errol's, and away to the far side. The top weight, the Highway Rat, coming on just outside the 3 mark, and the leader is Harry's Hill from Al Jadi, the Highway Rat, the green cap, followed by Salite and Downforce next with Errol's and last year's winner Laugh a Minute. Verhoy nudged along, then only Spoofing and Swift Flight. John Riggins is the back marker as they come past the halfway stage, and the DMG Media Handicap over 5. Coming past the 2, Harry's Hill joined by a smooth going Salite, followed through by the Highway Rat and Al Jadi next with Errol's coming under pressure. Then Laugh a Minute and Downforce and Swift Flight for Hoy and John Riggins, and only Spoofing as they hit the furlong pole. Harry's Hill finding in front, leads narrowly, challenged by Laugh a Minute on the far side of the Highway Rat, then Salite as they race inside the final 100 yards, and it's Laugh a Minute on top going to the line to repeat last year's win from the Highway Rat. Swift Flight ran on well in between Salite and Downforce.
Back-to-back victories for Laugh a Minute in this DMG Media Handicap. He's been produced with a well-timed challenge by Ronan Whelan to get the better of the top weight, the Highway Rat, winning it 4-1. And Don, it was a familiar path via that run at Dundalk for Laugh a Minute.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts about that?
The exact same last year, didn't he, Gary? Had a run at Dundalk and stepped forward from that to come and win here. Obviously, that's sharpened him up. That run at Dundalk was his first run since October. And Edom McGuinness, he knows how to have winners here at the Curragh on this day. And Laugh a Minute, he loves this ground. He's a versatile horse. He ran really well in the Ahanora Handicap over 7 furlongs at the Galway Festival last year. Another place for Edom McGuinness likes to have winners. And he's come on here. He's back down to a mark of 88, which is £7 lower than the mark off which he won this race last year. And Ronan Whelan has just timed his run to perfection over on the far side.
Big run once again for Ammo Racing and Adrian Murray with Salite, who showed up very nicely for a long way under Kevin Stott, just tired a bit late in proceedings. Another one who had run in that Dundalk race and actually finished in front of Laugh a Minute that day. Laugh a Minute was off the bridle well before that one, and indeed Harry's Hill done, but he does fine for pressure, this guy, doesn't he?
He does. He stays further than this, and you know, a well-run 5 furlongs on soft ground at a stiff track, that suits him well. And you can see him there. He's lost none of his willingness for racing. He's an 8-year-old now, but kept sweet by Edom McGuinness, and he's gone to the line strongly. Harry's Hill has given it a good go out in front. He kept on there on the front end for a long way. Swift Flight has finished off his race well, maybe to snatch second place as well. And the Highway Rat
to win races, comes to 2 out with the lead and jumped it more fluently than Jetlegs in second. Back in third is Cadex. Fame and Concrete is now struggling, and further back to Perfect Man and Bridge Road as they head towards the final flight. It is Shot Boy who's got 3 lengths on Jetlegs. Shot Boy jumps the last well, so too in second place Jetlegs. Jetlegs came away from the flight running. He's still got a chance, he's staying on. It is Shot Boy against the rails with Jetlegs coming home with a jet propel finish to the outside, and Jetlegs is collaring Shot Boy close home and gets there on the line. It's Jetlegs. Nice ride from Theo Gillard.
Good style. Spike Jones on the left with the noseband is in pursuit. The grey Flexi Furlow is with this one. These are well clear from Lalo Ketsu as they move down towards the final flight of hurdles. And as they do so, Moon King in the white and green challenged on the far side by Flexi Furlow, on the left by Spike Jones. And it's just Moon King with Spike Jones in the red and white coming to throw down the challenge. Flexi Furlow has switched to the near side. Now it's the noseband head of Spike Jones who's just in front, but Moon King battling back. The judge will split them. Few lengths behind with a Flexi Furlow in third.
With him though, these two have gone on from One for Mama back in third place and Monticello in fourth. The final flight. This race going to be fought out by the market leaders. At it there together, both a bit untidy. Theme Tune on the far side, Post Chase down the near side. Theme Tune just in front. A furlong run in from this point. Theme Tune finding plenty here for Bruce Lynn. Theme Tune has quickly gone 5, 6, 7 lengths clear, leaves Post Chase readily behind, and Theme Tune wins the opener in grand style to beat Post Chase, who is fully 8. Peter is up into third, so it's all change as they go towards the penultimate flight of hurdles. Inisor to the far side, Outlaw Peter to the inside. Back in third now is Glen Carroll. They've booted away from Wrexham, and Shadows in the Sky on the run down towards